Just want to provide a few updates for the club before we hear from some of our wonderful guests. Our next quick information from our service moment. We are going to be planting flags at grave sites of veterans at Hope Cemetery next Sunday, November 7th. We're going to start at 10 a.m. And work until it's done. So, you know, the old cliche is many hands make light work. So if you're able to join us even for a couple hours.
We'll meet at the administrative building. We're
Perfect.
right into Hope Cemetery. There's a building on your right-hand side. That's where we'll meet.
Awesome. 10 a.m. start, and then go to where we're done. Special thanks to Chris Gates for setting this up for all of us, and a great way for us to memorialize those who have served our country. As a result of that, and the fact that our November 11th meeting is going to be on Veterans Day, we will be off. So November 4th is next week. I will be traveling in Chicago, so Bob Mangan will be taking over, running the meeting, and he's going to do a fantastic job. Next thing on the list is a peace pole project. I know I talked about this briefly at the last meeting, and we've had some great conversations within the board of directors. We have a sister city in Pushkin, Russia. So the city of Worcester and Pushkin, Russia are sister cities, and they have proposed to plant peace poles in both of our great cities. We're going to try and do this at the same time, so that it gets done simultaneously. And we are looking for 2 locations within the city of Worcester to plant our peace poles. We heard from Peter Dunn, the Chief Development Officer for the city of Worcester, a couple weeks ago, and talked about Pickett Pavilion that's going up next to Polar Park, and we hope to be part of that opportunity as well for one of our sites. And if you guys have any suggestions on a second site, please let myself or the board know, because we will be discussing that at our next board meeting, so we can get some of this stuff finalized. These peace poles are wonderful opportunities. They have a message of peace in many different languages on that pole. So it is a great way for us to reach overseas and do something wonderful at the same time as our sister city. So I'm greatly looking forward to that. Before I move on, does anyone else have anything any updates or announcements for the benefit of the club?
Just mention the sign-up sheet that you sent out.
Thank you. I was going to do that, but I forgot. The sign-up sheet is through a Google Sheet that I sent out in my last newsletter. So please, if you haven't signed up yet, and if for any reason you can't access that form, because there was an issue with it to begin with, if you can't access that form, just shoot me an email, just letting me know when you'll be there, and I'm happy to add it. So far, we have about 8 people signed up. But hopefully we can get some more. And of course, your families are welcome too. So if you want to bring loved ones with you, please do, because it's a wonderful opportunity to share in service. Thank you, Bob. Anybody else? Perfect. I just want to say a special thanks to our Education Fund Committee for making this possible. They do a lot of work to ensure that our club can continuously support non-traditional students from Worcester State University and Quinsigamond Community College. So on behalf of the club, I'd like to thank all of you for that hard work, because today is the product of that work. So without further ado, I think we'll just go alphabetically, just to make it a little bit easier. I would love, Felicia, say your last name for me.
Riffelmacher.
All right, I should have just done it because that's what I was going to. I would love to introduce to you one of today's special guests, Felicia Riffelmacher, the Senior Director of Development from Quinsigamond Community College.
Oh, this is all official microphone. I'm a karaoke person, so you might be in trouble. If I hear a beat, it's going to be on. Okay. So thank you so much today for inviting us and for your generous support on behalf of President Luis Pedraja. I'm still learning to say his name, which I probably should get better at that. I've been at Quinsigamond for 2 months, so. And Vice President of External Affairs, Viviana Abreu Hernandez, thank you so much for the invitation to be here today with one of our scholarship recipients, Talia McQuade. And you will hear from her shortly. And Tiru, who because of her work schedule could not be here today. Most importantly, thank you for your generous support of QCC and our amazing students. I'm going to take a little time to speak about myself, which I know you really don't want to hear about. You want to hear about the students. But I think that you will understand the impact of what your giving does by hearing a little bit of my story. I say amazing students because I really believe that, and possibly because I'm also a proud alumni of Quinsigamond Community College, class of 1997, before there were iPhones, tablets, and if you can believe this, email. I'm like, how did we do it? Like, I don't know. So when Anne, I first want to read something from Anne, who could not be here today. And it's not that what she says is, really poetic or, but I think it'll help you understand what kind of students that your giving supports. She said, "Hi Felicia, I hope you are well. I am so sorry, but I cannot attend on the 28th. I am a school bus driver, and that day is a half day for my district, Neshoba Regional. That means I have to be at the high school by 11:15 a.m., and I pick up the elementary school for 12:15 p.m. I cannot request coverage with such little notice. Honestly, because there's a shortage of school bus drivers, I probably wouldn't have been approved for time off even if I requested the time a month in advance. I have an interview after that for another job at 2 p.m., so it's a really busy day for me. I am so sorry that I won't be able to attend. Thank you for the invitation, and I wish I could attend. Can you please give me the names of the people in charge so I can write them a thank you letter? Let me know if there's anything else you would like me to do in place of attending." I want you to think about a student who is older, non-traditional, and driving a bus, but has hopes of a better life. That's not untypical of students at Quinsigamond Community College. I myself was a non-traditional student. I went back at the age of 31. Like Talia and Anne, I was also a non-traditional student. I started Quinsigamond in 1995 to begin a higher educational journey that I frankly was not sure I'd be successful with. Our class of 35 students was chosen from over 300 applicants because at the time occupational therapy was a really hot field. I wanted so badly to do well in this program to prove to myself and to dispel the narrative that I was not college material as I had been told in high school. But I also had this huge dream for me and my husband to build a home. Perhaps that doesn't sound like a big deal to some, but for me, who came from parents who were redlined and could never own a home, this was huge. And also for me, who just 2 years prior to coming to QCC had been homeless and living in the YWCA in Boston. My first semester, I met an amazing professor, Nancy Ohan, who gave me incredible words of wisdom about keeping it all in balance. At the end of the semester, I was so transformed and grateful for the hope that the program gave me, I went to the Christmas tree shop and gifted all 35 of my classmates with a small holiday gift. My husband, a dyed-in-the-wool New Englander, thought I had lost my Midwestern mind by gifting things to people I barely knew. Nonetheless, he helped me wrap, and along with my classmates, I gave Nancy a small gift too. We spoke after our last class of the semester, and she told me to remember that in OT, balance was paramount and that she was having surgery over the winter break and would see me next semester. I never saw Nancy again because unfortunately she passed away due to complications from the surgery. However, she constantly weighed on my mind throughout the next year and a half, and I finished the OT program, graduating with a 4.0 average and chosen as the outstanding occupational therapy student in the program. I won 2 academic scholarships, which assisted me just as you have done here today. I graduated in May, and we moved into our newly built home in November of 1997, where we still reside there today. I was able to go on and earn a bachelor's and then an MBA, but no other course of education changed my circumstances and trajectory like QCC. I left the field of OT, and now I have the joy of working in a field that I'm passionate about. People sometimes say to me, "I can never do what you do," asking people for money. And I often reply, "I really don't talk a lot about money. I ask people about their passions. What would a better world look like to them? And what, when it's all over, what do they want their lives to have said? For many people, their passion is to help people, help themselves create a more beautiful existence for all of us. That's what you've done here today by your wonderful philanthropic giving. I say philanthropic because it differs from charitable in this specific way. Charity meets an immediate critical survival need, a meal, a warm bed, etc. Philanthropic giving seeks to root out the causes of suffering and seeks to eliminate the need over time. Both are truly important. But what you have done through your giving is akin to the parable of give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day, teach a man to fish and he'll eat forever. That's what QCC has done for me, thousands of others, and to Leah and Ann. Finally, I've learned that giving enlarges the life of the donor. So my Christmas tree shop gifts have been repaid many times over in ways I couldn't have imagined. I hope the generous support you have given to the many organizations to which you have donated brings you more joy than you have space to hold. So thank you very much. What I'd like to do now is to introduce a student who, in the 30 minutes that I have known her, has really impressed me, and I hope I don't start crying. So I would hope you would welcome Talia McQuade, a recipient of the Worcester Rotary Club Scholarship at Quinsigamond.
So I should start by saying I'm a little terrified right now. So my name is Talia McQuade, and I'm 38 years old, but my story starts 23 years ago. When I was 15, I was diagnosed with social anxiety and bipolar II disorder. I was always very smart, so I wasn't going to let this stop me, so I kept trying. I tried to go to UMass Amherst, but they didn't have the social support that a school like QCC has, so I found myself dropping out after 2 semesters of just not being able to go to class. So if you know anyone who lives with any of these mental illnesses, you understand how difficult it is. I tried again 10 years ago thinking I could do just online courses, but I needed the lecture. So you had the option of 100% online or going to class. That didn't work out so well. So I gave up and I applied for disability, which I've been on for 10 years. And it is not the kind of existence I would wish on anybody. So along came COVID, which is a horrible thing, but it came with a silver lining. Classes went remote, and so lectures were online. And I was able to take the opportunity. I was sick of being on disability. I was sick of my options being completely limited, and I applied. I applied for human services at first, thinking if I'm going to go back to work, I want to help people like me. But it became quickly apparent that I'm just not a people person. But psychology really, really interested me, especially quantitative psychology. I was telling Felicia my favorite class is psychological statistics. And that gave me an opening to go into research that doesn't require so much interaction. I can do this from the privacy of my own home. So that's the path I'm on. And I did a lot of hard work last semester. I got invited to 2 honor societies, 100% online. And then I applied for these scholarships, and when I got the email that said that you awarded me the scholarship, it wasn't even about the money. It was about the decision that you made, that you saw me and all the hard work. The challenges I've been going through paid off. The money helps, of course, but it just felt like the ultimate validation. So now at 38 years old, I will be graduating in May and heading towards UMass Amherst in their great psychology program. And I actually have an interview next week to work in a lab as an intern that does crisis intervention research using smart technology, so I can start myself down this goal. So I just wanted to say thank you. Because of your support and help, people like me who have a hard time in this world are able to go back to school and realize our dreams and become productive members of society.
both so much for those wonderful stories and experiences. I really enjoyed them personally. I'd love to present each of you with a little token of our appreciation for being here today, other than the money, which we call the Rotary Pen of Distinction.
Oh, thank you so much.
And we hope that you guys will use this item to sign all of your important documents going forward. Next, I have the privilege of introducing our other special guest today. Jodi Briggs Pickett is the Executive Director of Development at Worcester State University.
I guess you're not going to clap for yourself, but will, right?
That's right.
So my remarks are a little bit shorter, but basically I just wanted to, as you've already introduced me, but Jodi Briggs Pickett, I'm the Executive Director of Development at Worcester State University, and I've had the privilege of being in the Worcester State community for about 2.5 years now. And I was, my first year, actually I think it was like 4 months in, I had the privilege of joining you all for lunch then, and I appreciate the opportunity of coming back and seeing you all again. And I also appreciate your support of our students. This scholarship, the Worcester Rotary Club Scholarship at Worcester State, started back in 2005. So in the past 16 years, you have donated over $40,000 to support our students. And for that, we cannot thank you enough. We truly value our partnership, and most importantly, the support that you've given to our amazing students, like the two you're going to hear from shortly. So on behalf of the university, I just want to thank you so much, on behalf of the past recipients as well. Let's see, I can't read my own writing, that's horrible. But anyway, I know it says, thank you so much. And I wanted you to hear from the students and hear their story. So first, I meant to flip a coin to see who would go first. But why don't we start with you, new lady? We'll have her go first. She's a little nervous like you, but just to tell us a little bit about your story and what this means to you.
Thank you, Jodi. Hi.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Newly, and I came from Vietnam 5 years ago, alone. And I first started out from the IOI program at Worcester State to study English as a second language. And then after a year, I got into the chemistry program, which is what I'm majoring right now. I'm a senior majoring in chemistry with a concentration in biochemistry. I also have a minor in math. And I'm going to graduate this next May. So I just want to say thank you so much for providing me this Worcester Rotary Scholarship, because it's really meaningful for me, because of the pandemic is affected my family financial heavily. My parents have been staying at home and struggling to pay for my tuition and fee at Worcester State, and the living fee as well as for studying abroad. So receiving this scholarships really helps relieve the financial burden and allow me to keep going to school without being worried. Right now, I'm an undergraduate research intern at UMass Chan Medical School. I work in the lab to develop nanomaterials to apply in biomedical science. And I also a chapter president of Chemistry Honor Society at Worcester State. I volunteer to tutor all the students with all courses of chemistry because I want to give them a passion for chemistry, like what I do have, and help students to achieve academic success. I am also a peer-assisted learning mentor who assists students with material in organic chemistry. And yeah, I just want to say thank you so much, and thank you for inviting me here today.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I have two questions. Where were you when I was taking chemistry? And, the second one is, you said you came from Vietnam alone. What does
Yes.
that mean?
So I came from Vietnam because I am an international student. So it's funny because my parents have never supported me to study chemistry because they think they prefer me to study accounting or business administration. So that's why after finishing high school in Vietnam, I ended up having a year in economic university in Vietnam and majoring in accounting. But then after a year, my mom changed her mind. So like, no, you gotta go to the United States to study abroad. That's what I want you to do. So
Is she still in Vietnam?
yeah, so I agreed and I came here. So I started everything from beginning.
Will you go back to Vietnam or will you stay?
I don't know yet because after graduation, I think I'll go for a PhD in chemistry, and my goal is to become a professor and a researcher studying diseases and develop potential drugs. So I would have to ask my mom too, whether she wants.
Thank you.
Thank you.
After hearing from the two of you, you said you were so nervous. I don't know, I don't think you give yourself enough credit for all you do.
I agree.
Yeah. And also hearing the stories, it just is amazing to me, and that's why we appreciate so much that you're supporting the non-traditional student, listening to all that they have on their plate and being able to help some with the financial burden so that they can maybe take a little less off their plate is just amazing. So up next, I would like to introduce Ryan Newfell, our second recipient.
Hear this ahead of time, so we'll see if I can do this well. So I enrolled at Worcester State University in December 2020 at the age of 33 after being laid off from my marketing role due to the pandemic. So like many others, I suddenly found myself with years of work experience in an area that I had no degree in. I decided this was a life-changing opportunity, much like you, that I needed to focus on completing my education. And this time I would have a plan. And so I graduated from Quinsig with my Associate of Science in Criminal Justice back in 2014, but I didn't have a plan for what I wanted to do next. I was so focused on getting that degree, I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I just knew I needed a degree. And this time, I knew I wanted to do something better. So I was able to transfer my credits to Worcester State and enter as a junior, and I'm now studying communication. I've utilized all semesters and intersessions, so I'm 33 and I'm married, and I want to start a family soon. And so I took 4 classes over the summer that were accelerated. I took one over winter break. And I'm pretty hell-bent on getting my degree as quickly as I can. So this semester I'm taking 3 classes, History of Photography, a Survey of Radio and Television, which covers broadcasting history from the last century, and Script Writing, which is a little intimidating and it wasn't really my forte, but I'm really enjoying it, and it turns out I'm not too bad at it, actually. This coming spring, I plan to utilize a program between Worcester State and Clark University that allows me to jumpstart my Master of Science in Communication while I'm still enrolled in my bachelor program. So it lets me actually kind of double dip. I can use those credits from Clark towards my degree in Worcester and get more for my money and for your guys' money. Thank you very much. My post-graduation goal is to work with small business owners, many like yourself, to help them create and amplify their brand image and action their marketing and sales plans. I find that a lot of business owners, they know their products and they understand who their customers are, but they need help structuring those ideas and then getting it out into the field and actually being successful in the marketplace. And I've worked with a lot of small businesses in my marketing career, and I wanted to, go down that avenue. And I'm also actually exploring the avenue of teaching at a higher education level. So I'm also seeing maybe I get my PhD. We'll see. That's a big, tall order. Scholarship opportunities for older and non-traditional students are really few and far between. I didn't find many, even though I need them. And this opportunity that you guys have offered relieves a considerable burden, and it makes my continued schooling and my plan for my master's degree a possibility. I didn't have this written down, but I've been having a lot of doubts recently about whether I should continue on with schooling, making much less money, and I wasn't making much money before, but I'm making much less than I was in my marketing job. And hearing about this not only gave me a relief to my loan burden and the ability to pay other household bills, but it also provided an emotional boost that shows that I'm worthy of academic scholarship and that I have the support of my school, of the Worcester Rotary Club, and the Worcester community in general. And I'm really honored and humbled to receive these funds from you guys, and I do see the service above self. And I think that you guys truly live by that motto and give back to your community, and I want to thank you very much. Thank you.
Back to you. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Jodi, Ryan. And as well, you guys also get a pen of distinction.
Thank you.
That we hope that you guys use this to sign all of your important documents going forward. And hopefully your acceptance to the master's programs and everything like that. Students, I'm going to address you all directly right now. Okay, because one of the hopes and dreams that these fellow Rotarians that are sitting with you here today is to live up to the standard that we believe in as Rotarians, and Ryan just mentioned that. It's our #1 motto here, and that's service above self. Okay, that's why we do what we do and how we do it. So our ask of you is that in your lives going forward, to keep that in mind and pay it forward and use every opportunity that you have to serve others. And like our Rotary International president says, serve to change lives. Would you do that for us? Thank you all. Awesome. It gives me great pride as a Rotarian, not as a president, but as a Rotarian, to be here today, to listen to your experiences, to hear more about what you're going through. Not only for those reasons alone, but for myself. I was a non-traditional student myself as well. So I feel you. I know what you guys are going through. I know what it's like to have the support of community in the institution that you attend as well. In your future, use what you learn. Make connections. Serve others. And succeed. Okay? Thank you all very much. And I'd like to ask for another round of applause for these worthy students. Never forget the connections you make. And Talia, the gentleman who's taking pictures, is also in the psychology field as well. So he might be a good person to get to know and talk to. He's done it for a very long time. Upcoming speakers, my friends. Next week we have Mark Vital, who's with the Sweats for Vets program, coming to spread awareness about that cause. We are off on November 11th, and the 25th is Thanksgiving, but the week before that, the 18th, Rob Antonelli from the Worcester Parks and Recreation Department is going to be here as well. So we are looking forward to those speakers greatly as well. Oh, one more thing. If I could ask the administrators from the schools and the students just to stay back just for a few minutes afterwards for a photo opportunity and to get the actual money. That'd be wonderful too. So we don't let you leave empty-handed. Chris, you get the raffle, right?
Right.
All right. Would you let our visiting district governor, past district governor, pick a number? And Michael, please don't pick mine again.
Okay. 569.
You did it. You did it. You did it. I've won like 3 weeks in a row. And I didn't get it, which is great, because that means the pot still grows. Chris, what do we pronounce here?
$211.
$211 and continuing. My friends, as we go forth today, let us consider how we can serve to change lives. And of the things we think, say, or do, consider these 4 things. Is the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? And once again, on behalf of the Rotary Club of Worcester, I want to thank you all for being here today. It was a great privilege for us to hear a lot more from you. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day.